Welcome, everybody, to the Jim Masters Show Live. It's good to have you with us. Hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you're ready for a great show. It's good to see everybody. We were off last night. It was election night, and it sort of still is here in the United States of America. They're still counting in those votes and tabulating everything. So we wish everybody good luck with that, but we are here to entertain you and put smiles on your face, as we've been doing for 26 weeks now, just about every single night live here on our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. I am your host, Jim Masters. I do this work professionally as a television, radio personality, presenter, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, voiceover artist, and narrator, and stage MC, the whole bit. And then 26 weeks ago, took all of that knowledge and background, and we brought in the equipment and built this home studio. And here we are with our pumpkin for this time of year and fall and the whole bit. And we are here, raring to go. Really busy day. I was on the air with the radio shows as well, wearing of my professional hats, interviewing people on the radio. And then we've been working so hard behind the scenes, preparing all of the extraordinary episodes of our series that we have coming up with phenomenal guests tonight and tomorrow and the rest of the week. We actually have two shows on Sunday, one at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's on our YouTube channel with Irish singer-songwriter George Hutton. He's going to be here. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, so you don't miss anything. Former NFL cheerleader Jennifer Cobb is going to be here, and she is also part of an extraordinary charitable organization that finds funding for Parkinson's disease and more, and she's going to talk about that. That's going to be 7 p.m. this Sunday. Former NFL cheerleader. She was with the St. Louis Rams, and she's going to be with us at 7 p.m. on YouTube this Sunday. But before that, live from Ireland at 3 p.m. Eastern time. That's Eastern time. It'll be 8 p.m. in Ireland on our YouTube channel. That's going to be fantastic because we're going to have an opportunity to have a great conversation and really absolutely great music with George Hutton. He's a terrific lyric tenor. He's an Irish pop star, singer, songwriter, and really popular. I know you guys are excited about that. Saturday night, also live and direct, or Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, England. The incredible 21-year-old singer, songwriter, and musician, really popular, live from Dublin, Oscar Blue is going to be here this Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. Western European time, where he's based. That is Ireland, Scotland, and England. That is 3 p.m. Eastern here Saturday on our YouTube channel. Those are all on the YouTube channel. So don't look for us on Facebook over the weekend. Look for us on YouTube at Jim Masters TV and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. Really cool guests. And our guest today happens to be live from Italy. Yes. I tell you, international we are here, interactive and international on our show. Mariagrazia La Fauci is with us as well, and she is founder and artistic director of this extraordinary theater company. We're going to talk about it in just a minute. She is actually in Sicily right now, where it's like 1 a.m., and we bless her and thank her for coming on at 1 a.m. We said we could do the show earlier, but she is a go-getter. She says, no, I'll have some Italian espresso and I'll be wide awake at 1 a.m. And she is. She also, she's from the Boston area, but she has family there in Italy, and she's been visiting with them and also doing work involving the theater too, which has the connections there, of course, in Italy. We're going to welcome her to the show, and we have lots of great folks that are joining us here on the show as well. We're going to take a couple of the viewer comments. Keep them coming. We'll look through all of them. We'll show them on air. And then after, when we wrap up with Mariagrazia, or MG, she said we can call her, we'll chat after the wrap up of our conversation as well, see how everybody's doing. All your friends are here, Gilligan and George and Jeannie and Silver and Jimmy, and Lin is back there too. I know you guys are looking for Lin, the big panda, is back there as well, and hope you guys are doing well. Let's check in with a few folks from Holland, from the Netherlands. Hello, Jim. I'm enjoying your show again. Hello, my friends from the Jim Masters Show. Good to see you, wonderful Willie in the Netherlands, in Holland. Nice to see you here. Tess LaBella is here from South Florida. Good to see you. Hello, Lovities. Kathy Short, good evening, Jim, and all the Lovity family from Cleveland, Ohio. Good to see you as well. Willie is welcoming Mariagrazia to the show as well. We love that. Tulips coming in from Willie as well. She's always great with doing that. Merlin is here as well from Canada. Hi, Merlin and all Lovities. Mary Bishop is here. Hi, Jim and all Lovities. Bernadette is here. Hello, Jim and all Lovities. Good to see you as well, Bernadette. Marilyn is here from Wichita, Kansas. Good evening, Jim and all our Lovities. Good to see you as well. Nice to see all these faces again. Hello, Jim. Good to see everybody. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday from Claudia. Good to see you as well. We've got a nice community from around the world on this show, don't we? Absolutely. Marcia Watson says, good evening to all. Good evening to you as well, Marcia. And Wozniak, good evening, Jim and everyone. Nice to see you too from South Africa. Juanita is here. Hi, Jim and everyone. Good to see you as well, Juanita. Everybody looking good. Everybody seems to be in good spirits and got a lot of rest. If you've been watching the elections, probably you stayed up late. We went to bed at 12:30. We said, that's that. And we just wanted to rest. Busy day today. Hi, Jim and everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Looking forward to an exciting show with inspiring conversation and levity. Good to see you, Crystal in Connecticut. In New York City, Kathleen Walker's here. Hi, Jim, and hope all is well. Hi, all from Kathleen. Good to see you as well. Kathleen, nice to have everybody here today. Christine Clifton from North Carolina. Good evening, Jim and lovely friends. We welcome Artistic Director Mariagrazia La Fauci to the show tonight. A great conversation is ahead in Lovity Hall. Good to have you guys here and everybody else that's watching on all the other platforms as well. Nice, nice, nice. Cassandra Bain, or Lady Bain, the wonderful guest on our show, brilliant singer, singing sensation. Hello, beautiful people from Cassandra. Nice to see you, my friend. Great to have you here as well and see your happy face. Sherry Schoenline is here. Hello, Jim and all Lovity. So glad to be with all of you in Lovity Hall this evening. Nice to see you as well. Lots of welcomes coming in here from everybody and hellos. And Sherry says, welcome to Lovity Hall, to Mariagrazia. And we're so happy you are here. So MG is getting lots of great welcomes. Good stuff. Well, let's welcome her to the show. She is really extraordinary. Again, she's a brilliant artistic director, and she is the founder of this extraordinary theater that we're going to talk about live and direct from Italy.
Hello. Welcome.
I tell you, I know. Are you blushing from this extraordinary welcome?
Yeah, thanks, everyone. I feel so welcome.
Welcome to Lovity Hall and all the Lovities and viewers from around the world who are here, which we love, and they spread the word. There's a lot of positivity and inspiration and good vibes on this entertainment lifestyle talk show series, and really a pleasure to have you here. I'll show you a few more comments that are coming in if you were able to hang on to what you saw there. Welcome MG from Lady Bain, who's a fabulous R&B singer and sensation. She was a guest on our show. Merlin, welcome MG to Lovity Hall.
Thank you, Merlin.
She's in Canada. Juanita in South Africa, welcome to the show, MG. Bernadette, welcome MG to Lovity Hall as well. Lots of them coming in. And Wozniak says, welcome MG. Toasts from Willie. And Cassandra says, thank you. You're very welcome, Cassandra. And Mary welcomes you. And Kathleen in New York City welcomes you. Mary is in Florida. Kathleen is in New York City. Crystal welcomes you. She is in Connecticut. Willie welcomes you from Holland, from the Netherlands.
In Italian.
Yeah, she's good at that too. And we have Marilyn from Wichita, Kansas, welcoming you to Lovity Hall. And Cassandra, Lady Bain, says, MG, you'll fall in love with the people here. We love that. Thank you, Lady Bain.
So nice.
Yeah. And actually, MG was referred to our show by another wonderful guest and dear friend. Remember, we had Clara Francesca on, folks. Well, Clara enjoyed it so much. She said, MG, you got to get on the show, talk about the theater, talk about, life and everything you're doing. And so that's what happens a lot of times. And that was a great show as well with our friend. Christine says, welcome, MG, to the Jim Master Show Live. You are now a Lovety. See, I told you they were going to say you're a Lovety. Isn't that great?
I love it.
Happy to have you with us tonight. And Jennifer Barry, who's in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Hey, MG, my family is from Palermo and Messina. Well, why don't you tell them where you are right now in Italy and Sicily? However,
well, Jennifer, I'm in Messina right now. That's where I'm from. So
is that not amazing?
Perfect. Yeah, that's
Messina
wonderful.
and Sicily in Italy. That's great. Marcia Murphy Watson, welcome, MG. So happy to see your lovely smile.
My face already hurts from smiling.
And you know what? For effect, you know what MG did? She actually spoke to the priest at the church down the road, and she said, just so we can make this authentic and provide inspiration and levity on this show, because she knows that it's been rough here in the States with the elections and everything and around the world, she actually asked the church down the road if they can ring the church bells every 15 minutes. And they said, yes, just for you and for our show. So if we hear the bells, for whom the bell tolls is you and us.
Well, yeah, they do in fact ring every 15 minutes all through the night, but you all are lucky because you can't go to bed before it's 12:45 because they ring 12 times and then 3 times for the 15 minutes. So luckily we just missed that.
Just missed it. But give us 15 minutes and we'll have more. I think I heard something in the background a little bit. Is that what that was?
Yeah, there's usually one loud one that rings the hour and then little ones that ring the 15 minutes.
Oh, I thought you had a spoon that was stirring a teacup or something. It had a little bit of a cling sound. Bernadette Vidal says, what a sweet soul, MG.
Bernadette.
So tell us about the theater company. You created this. You founded it. You're the artistic director. What was your vision, your dream for this theater company in terms of what you wanted people to get from it? Not just the people who are entertained by it, but also those, the performers who are part of the actual company itself.
Yeah, it's a really, really specific vision that's been building over many years, but it sort of all started, I don't even know when it really started, but I'm from this tiny little village here in Sicily where I am currently. It's a really small village, currently less than about 400 inhabitants. That might actually be too many. So really small, really beautiful, really old. It's been around for over a century. And I witnessed a really sad decline in sort of the community and the quality of life as people were leaving to move to other places. As I'm sure a lot of people know, Southern Italy was a lot of troubles economically, unemployment, all these things.
Yeah.
But I just saw this community as such a gift, and this place is such a beautiful one. And I told Jim this earlier, we're up on a mountain, looking out to the Strait of Messina, up in these gorgeous, gorgeous mountains and these hills and the Floritans. And it's a place where Homer wrote about, Shakespeare wrote about. Like, it's a place of myth and beauty and culture and traditions, really wonderful ones, and an incredible people that live here and who really care so much about the history of this community. And I wanted to do something about that. I wanted to do something with that. And for years, I sort of tortured about what it was going to be because I actually had studied art history. So I was like, I'm going to do some type of an oral history thing.
Yeah.
I want to gather all the stories that are here and I want to share them with the world. And then I was like, no, well, what I am is a theater maker. So what needs to happen is there needs to be a theater program here. So that's what I started. And it took about 2 years from when that idea started until when we actually got to do it for the first time. But what happened was I brought this group of 8 amazing American actors to Sicily, sort of sight unseen. I auditioned them all in Boston and New York. And I was like, hey, so here's the deal. We're going to tiny little village. It's going to be really hot. There's going to be no Wi-Fi. I don't know if I'm going to be able to offer you a bed or just a blow-up mattress or maybe just a raft.
But the pasta is really good and the sauce is really good. I can give you that, right?
Yes, but the food will be great. The people will be amazing. The stories are worth it. It's going to be gorgeous. So what do you think? And more than 50 people came out and auditioned. We put together an amazing company of actors, and they came over here for the first time in 2016 and spent a month here with me. developing a show for the very first time. And that was how we started. We created the show, and we created it with absolutely nothing. Because, we're working in a tiny little village. We don't have a theater. We don't have lights. We don't have microphones, nothing. We didn't even really have costumes. We all just kind of took whatever clothes we had in our suitcases, and somebody like my aunt helped make some other like scarves and things. And we made a show out of that. So it was a really physical performance. It was really based on this very imaginative storytelling. And almost none of them spoke any Italian. It was just me and one other actor, but we were performing in front of a non-English speaking audience for the most part. So we had to do the entire thing that it could really be just understood with what we were doing physically, that we had to tell the entire story really creatively, really physically, using our bodies and, picking up bits of Italian and even Sicilian wherever we could to do it. And the story was a Sicilian myth. It was a very, very local Messina myth from, who was it? Jennifer, who's from Messina?
Jennifer Barry from Allentown, Pennsylvania, her dad. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were, really steeped in this culture and working together with the community to tell the story. So that was how it all began. And it's been growing since then. We've been expanding what we do to try to use the community and incorporate the community, engage the community more and more and more as we go and as we grow as a company. But that's sort of where it all started.
That's fantastic. Tell us about, we'll go back to the theater company in a second, but tell us about the area where you are for people who haven't been either to Sicily or to Messina. I actually haven't been there yet. I've been to Venice and some other areas, but not for a project, but not the southern part. Tell us about Sicily and specifically the region where you are.
Yes. So Sicily is, first of all, gorgeous and really, really rich in culture and history because of where it is in the Mediterranean. It's just got, everybody came through Sicily and everybody sort of left a little bit of their culture and took a little bit, so it's, I would say, less Italian than it is Italian plus Greek plus Arabic plus everything, Catalan plus. It's just this wonderful, incredible culture that has sprung out of so many cultures together. But where I am is, if anyone knows the area, I am along the eastern coast of Messina, and I'm about halfway between Messina and probably most people who have been to Sicily have been to Taormina, because it's a really, really popular tourist destination. It's amazing, amazing sort of mountaintop village that looks over Mount Etna. So I'm about halfway between those two cities. So if anyone knows those two cities, that's where I am, in a tiny, tiny little village that is way up in the mountains, about 7 kilometers from the nearest other village. So
that makes me think of an island that we for one of the other hats I wear, this lifestyle travel TV series, we went to Greece, and people say, oh, you must have gone to all the usual haunts, the Crete and Athens and everything. Well, we went through Athens, but we took a boat that took us over to an island sitting in the North Aegean Sea that's 7 miles. You could look straight across and see Turkey. And it's Samothrace Island, a really rugged but pristine and beautiful island. And the crew knew the family. So we actually went there and filmed several days with the family while they're out fishing in the ocean for the food, and the restaurant, cooking with them at the restaurant, and going hiking with them, and going to the top of the mountain to this beautiful church, this Greek Orthodox church where the home to the Nike gods come from. I mean, extraordinary stuff. And it makes me think of some of that rich culture and tradition in the way you're describing where you are, sort of remote, but has a special place in the hearts and minds of people, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of Greece, there are actually more Greek archaeological sites. Somebody can fact check me on this, but I believe there are more Greek archaeological sites in Sicily than there are in Greece. Because there was just so much Greek colonization here. And so actually a number of the Greek myths are based here, and I'm sitting along the Strait of Messina, which I think of as just the most mythical strait of water in the world. That's where Homer that's where Odysseus encountered the Sirens and Scylla and Charybdis and the Cyclops, and it was all here. That's where those stories are. Dionysus was born in not this set of mountains, but the other set of mountains just over the other side.
Exactly. And for those just joining us, we're not talking about Homer Simpson either. That's a totally different, totally different. Jennifer in Allentown says, my ma's side, my great nonni and pop came over on the boat from Palermo and Messina. Lady Bain says, Cassandra says, I cannot wait to visit there one day. Marcia asks how you got started in theater, and how did you study early in school? Were you always a performer as a kid? What was the love for theater early for you and performance?
Yeah, I think most people get into it because they love performing, don't they? It's totally the same for me. I started off as a kid who, went to musical theater camp and was like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. That was, I was however old. Actually, I think the first thing I did was Shakespeare. I did a little after school acting class, and
good place to begin.
I know. I just a scene from Shakespeare, and it always made sense to me after that, actually. But I started off as an actor from when I was a kid. Nobody else in my family was in the arts, I guess I should say. I'm first generation American. My parents were not in the arts at all, but somehow I got bit by a bug and decided that was what I wanted to spend my time doing.
And this was in the Boston area?
Yeah, this was in the Boston area. So I kind of...
The theaters, there's a Waltham connection, right?
I'm from Waltham, yeah.
That's where my mother's parents come from. Yeah.
No way.
From Europe, then to Boston, and then Waltham. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's where I was born and grew up. Yeah.
It's a nice area, nice town, nice area.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nice.
Just outside Boston for folks watching.
Yeah, it's just about 20 minutes, not too far.
So you had this spark, you had this real interest in performance and theater. So tell us about some of the training and some of the things you were able to embark on along the way.
Yeah, so I kind of did it just for fun all through high school. And when I say for fun, I mean took it very seriously, but it was not serious at all. It was like children's theater.
But to you, it was.
Oh my gosh, I was like, this is it. This is my moment.
This is it. Yeah. Put the lights on me, please. Here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I would have like one line in the musical, and I'd be like, this is it. But then I got to college. I went to Brown, and I think this is maybe like an immigrant kid mentality where you're like, oh no, you must do much more practical things. Like you can't, do arts as a career. So I was like, no way, I'm not going to do theater. And I wound up studying art history, which I don't know why I thought that was a more practical choice. But
it's the history part that made it sound maybe more this history is history. It's happened, so it's stable.
I think that might be it. That's actually a really good theory.
And the pay scale might be slightly higher than starting out. But,
seems so.
So what's cool about that, the art history is giving you a real appreciation then of the historical nature of the arts, right?
Oh yeah, I think I use my art history degree absolutely every day in theater, because there's just a sense of what you're doing as an artist is always in a context, and you're always working in your context. And that's so important to understand when you're creating art and when you're looking at art, that's what you're really looking at, is you're looking at a moment in human history and what people were thinking and feeling. I don't know if you could hear the bell. There it was.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Because by the time it translates to over here, it almost sounds like, plates and dishes at a restaurant or something, or somebody's doing the dishes in the kitchen, because you don't get the throng, you don't get the dong and all that. You get clang, clang.
Yeah.
Dishes, teacups.
No, nobody's doing the dishes right now.
That's funny.
That's maybe over at the church. I don't know. Yeah.
So that's cool. So you really, you really got into it, and you said you went to Brown, right? And then the art history, and then so how did you then continue the thrust into theater? And did you study also theater management and the business side of it all? And
no, I kept acting, actually. I took a whole bunch of acting classes. I decided not to do the major because I was like, I'm just going to do the classes that I like. But by the end of it, I'd done pretty much all the acting classes that were being offered and had been performing. And at some point along the way, someone had spoken to me about directing, which at first I was still like, I don't really think that's for me. And then I thought about it for about 5 more minutes, and I was like, I would really like to do that, actually. So I started directing a bit. And then when I left university, I found all of these opportunities in performing arts just kind of coming out of the woodwork. I was like, oh no, I was wrong all along to discount this as a realistic path. I should actually pursue this. I think that the universe is telling me something. So I started directing a little bit more seriously. And then I got into teaching theater, and was a high school theater teacher for a couple of years until I decided that I really wanted to give directing a serious try, and quit and went and got my master's in theater directing a few years after that.
So when you did that, what was the first opportunity for you working actually in the real world with that degree and that passion and that experience?
Oh gosh, so I got an internship at the Museum of Fine Arts Boston, which I was so thrilled for because
Sure.
it's one of the most incredible art institutes in the world. And I was working in the lectures and courses series. So I was getting to build this curriculum that was all about, exploring Japanese culture for a semester and whatever. So that was sort of the path I thought I was going, but already my brain was kind of going, what I really like is when people get to have some type of live experience with art.
Right.
I don't just want to put it on the wall. I want to let's do something with it together in the room.
Reactions and right, exactly. Energy of the audience and people and right. The human condition, human connection.
Yeah. And then pretty quickly thereafter, I think I just had a friend who was from the area who knew that I was around and was directing a production. He was like, I need another dancer. It's going to be the back of the cow. Please just come be it because I know you can do it. And that sort of snowballed into, oh, you know what? I'm on the board of this other theater and they're looking for a director for a show next year. Do you want to put yourself up for that? And that just kind of kept going. And then it just never stopped. And then the high school too. That was me literally turning up and being like, hey, do you guys have a theater program yet? Because you should. And here's why I should run it for you. And for some reason they were like, yeah, that sounds about right.
That's fantastic. So again, you really understand the full aspect and what it's all about, and it's not easy, right? Of course, there's so many different aspects to it. Of course, there's funding and sponsorships and fundraising, and just it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. And then to embark, had you always dreamed of creating your own theater company as well? Was that something in the back of your head that I think I'd like to have my own, or that just happened?
No, that's funny that you asked that because I don't think it was. I think I was happy to just let other people do all that. And as long as I got to, take over the stage for however long it took to direct my show, I would have been happy. But what I wanted was to have if I was going to make a theater company, it really needed to have a mission and a purpose that I didn't see being filled anywhere else. And who else was going to build a mission and a purpose to try and do work in this tiny little village in Sicily and try to make an international connection with this place and to try and connect this community, this really underserved community, to the arts and to give them these opportunities to engage where, our shows are outdoors in piazzas, they're for free, they're in really public areas. We do these rehearsals with very open doors where it's like, kids who are wandering by in the street, come on in.
Come on in, right.
We'll give you a part right now in the show.
So the creation of the theater company, how did you come up with the name of it? Tell us about the inspiration for the name of the theater company. And when you created it, what was that mission for founding your own theater company? Yeah,
so Trinacria is an ancient word that comes from triskelis, is a connected word, which you might have seen. I actually think that there are some Irish triskelises as well, but it's that sort of three-pointed figure and symbol for Sicily, which is, of course, a three-pointed island. So and the symbol of Sicily, which many people have seen as part of our logo, is the head of the Medusa with the 3 legs. And that is also the Trinacria. And our symbol replaces the head of the Medusa with the sock and buskin masks, the happy, sad theater masks that everybody recognizes quite immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the name came from, and that name actually led to the choice of the first story that we picked, which is Colapesce, which I think we'll probably talk about later, so I won't go into it right now. But
and that's something for people to realize, the young, the newness of it, and how young the theater company really is, right? It was actually created when?
2016 was our first year. So we're only in year 4, but we were on hiatus for 2017 because I was in my grad program getting my master's. So we didn't do that year. So we did 2016, 2018, 2019. And then there's 2020 where, a lot of live performance is on hold.
Into a halt, yeah.
We do find ways to soldier on and continue to explode our creativity into other arenas as best as we can. So
what have you been doing during all of this craziness of 2020? Have you been writing, creating, doing different things online? What's been happening on your end with the theater company?
Yeah, well, so our plan for 2020 was we had the show that we built in 2016, La Storia di Colapesce, and we'd hoped to put it back on stage for the first time since then in 2020. And the goal was to put it up in New England, where we know we have a pretty strong supporter base, because we then really would like to tour it further, because it's such a beautiful story. It's such a great show, and it's really lightweight and flexible and tourable. So we're always like, we're not just going to do this show this one time. We're going to do it lots and lots of times.
Right. Different cities, different places.
Yeah, that was always our hope. So we were going to try and start that out in 2020. And then the other thing we were going to do was try and do this open residency for artists, which for the first time, rather than bringing over a company of actors to all work on a show together, we put out a call to artists and we invited them to submit to us with their sort of individual, I'm working on an individual project, and I just want some time and space in Sicily to work on it together with you. And I want to work on it together with this community, and the community can engage with it. And that community will also help develop the piece that I'm working on in some way. So that was our plan. We've had to postpone, unfortunately, the residency to hopefully next year. But we have 4 amazing artists chosen for that. They are so great, and they come from all over the world. And I'm so thrilled to hopefully be working with them really soon. Fingers crossed next year. But Colapesce, of course, the performances that we started to get on the road, we couldn't do that. So we sat with it for a little while. We were like, oh, what can you do when you can't make theater in a room with other people? It's something about it just feels so
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So for a while, we just kind of were like, okay, let's just sit tight until we feel really creatively inspired to do something. And that actually happened quite quickly, where one of our company members was like, we have this amazing story of Colapesce. We have these amazing actors from all over the world, many of whom have really nice microphones. Let's create an audiobook, which sounds like it was a simple task. It was actually a massive order, because the whole show was physical, and we had actively made it to have almost no language in it, and then all of a sudden it had to be completely language based. So we had to rewrite it. We rewrote for like 2 or 3 months before we even started to record it. And of course, Clara Francesca is one of our amazing voice actors on it, and we released it last month, almost a month ago now, and I'm so proud of it. And it was the perfect way to just get those creative juices still flowing and keep this story in our hearts. And we're so thrilled.
The actors and actresses, the performers themselves, is there a certain age range? And even with the residency, was there a certain age range, or is the theater company open to all ages, backgrounds? How does that work on your end?
Oh yeah, well we try to be open to absolutely everyone. I will say that especially our first year, the age skewed rather young.
Yeah.
And I think that was a little bit self-selecting, that it was a lot of people who were thinking like, oh yeah, I'd be happy to go on this really random crazy trip for 3 weeks that's, unpaid, and I don't know where I'm going to be sleeping and what's going on. I think you have to be a little bit young and kind of silly to say yes to something like that. But thankfully they did. But since then, it's been growing and expanding to sort of all ages. We really want to be as accessible and open as possible, especially because our community, a number of them are rather elderly. And so we're working with a community that we're tapping into all different ways of connecting with them. One of my favorite things that we've done was this storytelling workshops where we just brought members of the community and we were like, hey, tell stories. Like, we just want to hear. Let's just all tell one another stories and just sit in a circle and hear what's out there. And of course, the stuff that comes out is amazing, amazing stuff. So, and then of course, we've got lots of children in the community as well. So looking for ways to really specifically engage them and working across all ages, all different kinds.
So is there two parts of it? Is there the component that's in Italy and then the component that's in Boston? Are they linked? Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. What I would say is it's less about the Boston and Sicily and more about, well, I suppose what we have in Sicily is we have this residency where we have this wonderful village, this wonderful community where we can bring artists and we can kind of open the doors to having them in here. And what we then have that can kind of go outward and into the world is this touring theater company where we can create these stories, we can create them together with the community, we can tell them together, but then we can also travel with them and share them and say, hey, this is what's over there in Sicily. This is this beautiful place that you should consider visiting, that you should consider really, because I think that's kind of the idea is a lot of people here have felt very forgotten by their own country, by their own people, that they don't feel like they count. And a lot of this is about telling stories to say like, hey, you actually really count. Your stories really matter. We care about them so much. We came from really, really far away to hear them and to tell them with you.
And I'm sure it appeals to all different backgrounds too, not just folks that have an Italian heritage, but just anybody that likes good performance in theater and great stories, right? How do you decide the stories that you want to tell? Do they have a certain purpose, a certain feeling, a certain vibe to them, a certain reason for them?
Yeah, I mean, the stories that we've been telling so far. So like I said, Colapesce came right out of the name of the company, which is Trinacria, and it's all about those 3 points of Sicily, the triangular points. And when I was sort of looking up Trinacria and what it meant, I found the story of a boy named Colapesce, and the myth is that he was a young fisherman's son from Messina who swam for so long in the water, he never came out, and his mother was always telling him, too much water is going to turn you into a fish. And whether she cursed him or whether he was just extraordinary or what have you, he did swim so far and so deep that he could see all the way to the bottom of the Strait of Messina, and he could see that Sicily was on 3 columns. One that was strong and sturdy, one that was crumbling, and one that was nearly on the brink of collapse. And there's a lot of different stories about how he got down there. The king challenged him and all this different things. But the entire point being that on his final dive, he never came back up. And many people believe that he's still under there and he's taken the place of that crumbling column to hold up the island. So it came quite directly out of that story of what the Trinacria is. And it was like, oh, that is a beautiful story that people should hear. And it isn't just about Sicily. It's about courage. It's about community. It's about what you want to give for your freedom and for your people, what you're willing to give, I suppose.
Right. That's beautiful. We do have some clips here. We'll start with the first clip just to give people a sense of this. And do you want to introduce or preface that first clip?
Yeah, so the first clip is quite early on in the audiobook. And I'll just say that I'm playing one of the characters at this point.
Well, of course.
Which my accent is based upon my mother's authentic accent. She actually recorded all of my lines for me. So,
really?
Yeah. I was like, I need to get your accent. And of course, she recorded them like, quite slowly in her own way. And then I took her accent and worked on it. But so this is towards the beginning of our audiobook of Colapesce. And it's very close to the beginning. So I think you don't need to know too much.
No, just come right on and enjoy. Yeah. All right, here we go, folks. Here's clip number 1. We've got a couple of cool clips to show you here. Enjoy it. And then we will be back and we'll chat some more. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jim Masters on the Jim Masters Show Live. Here we go.
He and his family lived in a small fishing village on the coast of Messina in Sicily, where beneath their feet endured one of 3 legendary columns, one under each corner of the triangular island. It is also said that their homeland sat atop these columns, stopping the great isle from sinking into the sea, even to this day. But I know better. I was there, after all. My name is Jacopo Mustacci, falconer and poet in the royal court of Castle Rufo Rufo. I was exiled from the court because I always spoke the truth. I spoke the truth then, and I speak it today. Lend me your ears and listen well. This is the true story of Colapesce, a boy who dove to Sicily's rescue in its most dire hour of need. Every day from dawn till dusk, Nicola swam in the waters of the Strait of Messina. He was never fearful of what larger sea dwellers may have lurked below the island, and he swam high and low with fish of all shapes and sizes. He would take naps on the water's surface and let the tides carry him near and far. And every day, Nicola begrudgingly returned home when his mother called.
Narratore, stai parlando di me?
But of course I'm talking about you. You're the main character of the story, aren't you?
Ma che dici? Don't you think I can tell my own story?
But I am the narrator.
You're talking about my mother. What do you know about mamma? No one talks about my mother except me. Tu capisci o no?
Va bene, va bene. Far be it from me to get between a boy and his dear mother. Tell me about Mama, Cola.
Grazie. I remember like it was yesterday. I'd spend long days out on the sea. The sun would be setting, and in the distance I'd hear her calling from the kitchen window.
Cola!
Si, mamma!
Pesciolino mio, my little fish. It's already 5 o'clock. Don't you think you've been swimming enough?
5 more minutes, please, mamma!
Come home, I'll make you something to eat. You know what they say, troppo acqua ti fa diventare un pesce.
Of course, mamma. Be right there. She was always so loving. Well, maybe not always. I suppose it depended on how long I'd been out in the water. Because the longer I stayed out, the more anxious she'd get.
Cola!
Si, mamma!
It's 6 o'clock. You're gonna miss dinner. Your father's gonna have to go looking for you. Oh.
All right, I'm coming.
Look how far out you are. You're gonna get caught in the current.
No, I won't.
Cola, why you always making me nervous, huh? Make him a faghisto. Look at me. I used to be so beautiful. Now look at all this gray hair you give me. Look at all these wrinkles.
You're still beautiful to me, mamma.
Oh. Hurry up and come inside, huh? Remember what I always tell you. Troppo acqua ti fa diventare un pesce.
I know, mamma, I know. I tried my best not to worry her. Really, I did. But the truth is, sometimes I just lose track of time. And when I did...
Cola! What's the matter with you? Huh? You know what time it is? No. You stay out there. I'm not gonna let you back in this house. You like the water so much, you sleep in. Always in the water, always in the water. Oh, Madonna Santa, quanto mi fa chiamare in neve sto figlio. How many times I have to tell you? Troppo acqua ti fa diventare un pesce.
I know. Too much water will turn me into a fish. I know.
Oh, you know, huh? Good, I'm glad you know. Get out of the water, get in here and eat. I'm making you lentils. Sit, eat, mangia. I should start calling you Cola il pesce. Cola da fish.
Va bene. Come Cola il pesce then. Cola il pesce. Cola, the fish. Not a bad name.
Not a bad name. Some people are asking who narrated, who's the probably the male narrator.
Yeah, that is a actor by the name of Quentin Capel. Very, very talented. And I will say he's not just the narrator. He also directed this particular audiobook, edited it, and that beautiful image that you saw as that was playing, that was him. He created that.
Really?
So,
So that's
yeah, very multi-talented person.
absolutely, absolutely. We have another clip as well. Tell us about the second sample we have as well.
Yeah, so this one was pretty much a new scene. Well, no, it wasn't new. We had a scene that was really abbreviated in the original theater production that was Cole going out to fish with his father and his uncle, Zio. But when we started to build the audiobook, we got really excited about getting even deeper into sort of the heritage and the tradition as we started looking at tuna fishing and sword fishing in Messina, which is Matanza. You set these giant traps, and it actually used to be this big tourist attraction in Sicily that people would go to see the Matanza, and it was pretty gruesome, but like kind of a bit like bullfighting in a lot of ways.
Bullfighting, yeah.
Oh yeah, but like with these giant sea creatures, and there are still some matanzas around in Sicily because tuna and swordfish. Oh, I know that everybody talks about the pasta, but the seafood,
Yeah.
the seafood. That is what you really got to
Pizza's
eat in
pretty
Sicily.
good too. Like a nice margarita pizza. You don't need like all that stuff on it, just the basics. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah, just all the food is so fresh that
Well, if you've been watching this show, food is something that this crowd loves. I did a whole foodie festival host chat. Sometimes I do shows where it's just me, the host of the show, because that's what I do. I'm a communicator. I'm a host. Where we didn't have a guest. It was the host, yours truly, and the viewers, the Lovedies.
Oh, lovely.
And we did a whole Sunday. I think I did 2 shows that day. I think I did an afternoon show of food, and then I think we had a guest at night. Double the pleasure for the viewers. But it was all food, and randomly, I prepared a whole meal. I did comfort, so it was meatloaf and mashed potatoes with cauliflower au gratin, and then biscotti, and it was a nice. And then what they did was they had sent in recipes. Some of them sent me their family cookbooks, which
oh my gosh, send those to me.
we've been cooking from them, and then they sent photos of their recipes and their food and we did what was going to be maybe, what would you think, talking about food, maybe about 45 minutes, an hour. We did like 2.5 hours. And we could have gone longer.
That sounds like a really good meal.
On this show, we do everything. That's what's great about it. We talk about so many different things. We don't just lock into one topic, one genre of life. We do everything. And this crowd, if you mentioned food, as a matter of fact, as we were talking, some of them have been talking about food. we got them started on food. Yeah, food lovedies here. And Tesla Bella is a wonderful, she's a great friend. She's a great actress, comedian, voice artist as well. She's in Florida. And some of them have been saying this, and I think I agree. Yeah, Bernadette, did we hear food? Perfect radio drama. Have you thought of that for this production?
Yeah.
Some of them have said that. I'd love to have it as an audio book.
Well, we can download it.
Juanita in South Africa. Love it. Should be broadcast as a radio drama. Sherry says, you look so young to have accomplished so much. That's wonderful that your drive and determination has brought you so far, as well as to Lovely Hall here with us tonight. Well, gee, thank you. I appreciate those kind words. But no, of course, we know you're talking about MG. But see, isn't that cool? They're thinking about other uses for what we're talking about tonight, which is kind of nice, huh?
Yeah, that is awesome.
2.5 hours we did the food festival in September. It sure was. We all shared recipes, family recipe cookbooks, great show. And
oh my gosh, I wish I was there.
We'll have you back on the next one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I love real Italian tomato pie. Tomato pie, not pizza, but tomato pie. Oh yeah, that's Jennifer. We're going to look at that other clip in a minute, but how long are you there in Italy, or is that going to be determined by a few things, because Italy is just
Mhm.
about on the verge of a pretty good lockdown, right?
Yeah, I think
England
we
just did it. Ireland did it last week. They're on phase 5, top level.
Yeah, I think so. When I booked my ticket here, which I don't know if I said this yet, but I finished my quarantine today. So I've
And you
just
said
finished.
you had 3 of them.
I have, yeah, I've done 3 this year. One when I was in Sicily, and then I had to go back to London, where I was living at the time. One going from London to Boston, and now this is my 3rd one. So I've spent over a month and a half, actually, of this year in total isolation. And let me tell you, you don't get as much done as you think you would. But I booked a return ticket to Boston, but we'll see if I wind up using it, because it's all going to be.
Is there a possibility if they do the lockdown soon, we can't leave there?
I'm not so worried about that. It's more about, like, if I'm going to travel, my parents, going back to see them, like, I don't want to put anyone at risk unnecessarily. And so I'm going to just keep an eye on the situation to see what it looks like. And if things are bad, I'm just going to stay put for a little while longer than I was planning, which I'm already planning to be here for a few months anyway. So,
Well, like I told you, I think you're in a good spot. You might as well stick around there until they decide the election. Let them decide who the president's going to be or is or what have you. And then you can look at coming back.
see what the tickets look like then.
Just have the pasta then. Yeah, the ticket prices will either go up or down. We'll find out.
Yeah.
So your parents are in Boston, but a
Yeah.
good deal of your family is there in Italy, huh?
Oh, yeah. I would say I have a huge extended family, like I'm sure most Italians. And I think it's pretty 50-50, those who immigrated to the US and those who stayed in Sicily, actually. Yeah, so pretty good amount of them here. And I'm very, very close with them, too.
So you were mentioning part 2 that we're going to take a look at, or this other transitional part. Tell us again a little bit about it, and we'll then show this to the lovities around the world.
Yeah, so this is not too long after the last clip just ended, and Cole is waking up the next day after a bad dream to go fishing with his father and his uncle to see his seal in the waters up just around Messina.
Very, very nice. Uh-oh, you got him talking about tomato pie. And Tess says, I have the greatest guests. Thank you very much. We work very, very hard. I was mentioning to MG that the balance that I have between doing this show every night and hosting it and producing it and doing the whole thing with all of my professional work in television and radio. And it's quite an undertaking. 26 weeks every day, just about.
I wouldn't imagine you have much free time.
180 episodes we've done, just about. Isn't that amazing? I think that we're approaching soon Seinfeld territory, and that was like 10 years in 6 months here. But you know what it is? If you love what you do, this is like an extension of what I do as a host, as a personality, as a presenter, journalist, what have you, on camera, on air person. So it comes naturally for me to do it, and just, producing and taking care of all of the home studio and doing all that other too. But it's like, I don't see it as a separate, I see it as an extension of my day, loving to do and communicate with people, have great people like you on, and communicate with the world at large through the efforts of the show. So I see it as it's enjoyable, even with all the craziness and work that happens and technical crazy things that can happen with the internet and all that. It's like in theater, technical things that can happen and planes that don't arrive and all this stuff that can happen. But it's that love of it, right?
Yeah. And without that, we wouldn't do it, because it's so much work, but it's the most rewarding work in the world. Absolutely.
I've had some singers on recently and musicians and folks like that too. Speaking of musicians, there goes the church bell. Ding, ding. Yeah, that's the 8 o'clock. Oh, well, no, 8 o'clock. That's the 2 a.m. for you.
That's the 2 a.m.
That's right. If you're looking for 8 on the East Coast here, it's 2 a.m. there. She's a true. More espresso stat for me. The musicians and artists and others have they've been talking about how, and asking them why they do what they do and the love of it and all. They said that they have to, meaning they know, not that they don't know anything else to do per se, but it's more of, oh no, I could never not vision myself being a musician or a singer or an actor or a news reporter or a writer or producer or whatever you do. They just have to do it. And some have even said things like, which I totally get, sometimes they feel the same, that there's an energy greater than themselves that's being passed through them, and they're sort of like a conduit or a facilitator of that, and that's coming out through their creative artistry. Do you feel that too?
Yeah, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, because I always heard this thing of, if you can do anything else in the world besides theater, do that other thing. It's just so hard and so grueling, and there'll be so much rejection. And I'd heard that so many times. And I think if you'd asked me 10 years ago, can you do anything else? I probably would have been like, yeah, I can. And as time's gone on, that yes has slowly worn off. Yes, has slowly worn into a, no, I really can't. This is it for me.
This is it.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. It's a great, great, great choice. Jennifer wants you to know what she's having right now.
Ah, yes. Salute, Jennifer.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Bernadette, we love Jim's shows. Thank you, Bernadette. 2 a.m. also. So you're in cahoots there with Willie in Holland.
Good morning.
She's 2 a.m. Yeah. And Kathleen in New York City says, that's cool that they ring the bell for you.
I will say that it used to be my dad's job when he was a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this is
these things gelling and coming to fruition, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Yeah, it really, really does. It's thrilling.
So much work goes into it. Here's more for you folks. Enjoy it. And we'll be back as we continue our conversation with our amazing guest live from Sicily, Italy. Manja.
Hey.
Cola's dream still hovered on the edge of memory as they prepared to launch the boat out to sea.
I'm feeling lucky today, ragazzi. Today, we eat like kings. Now, as one... Uno, due, three,
The small crew hopped aboard the Petzolo with the wind at their backs. Cola assumed his usual spot on the prow, while his papa and Zio took up the oars. Salt and spray hissed against their hull as they rowed out to inspect the Matanza, an island of nets, which they had arranged in the weeks leading up to this critical day. Cola struggled to keep his footing against the chop.
Ma guarda, Zio, our little Cola, son of a fisherman, whose father was a fisherman, whose father's father was a fisherman. The kid can swim like a fish. Oh, beato lui. But he still doesn't have his sea legs yet. How do you like that?
Bo.
Hold here.
Cola's father rose to examine the nets carefully. Zio's thick fingers were strong, but clumsy. And so, under his father's tutelage, Cola committed many dexterous knots to memory should the need ever arise.
A bordo, Cola, a bordo.
Port side.
Si, figlio mio. That line looks frayed. Belay that. Help me tie it to the boat.
Aye, aye, rice.
Here, let me help you get that tighter. There. That's how you do it.
Grazie, papa.
My son, you're learning well. Ci vuole tempo, and someday you'll be tying nets even stronger than Papa and Zio. You hear me, Cola? Someday you'll grow so strong, you will be able to hold the whole sea as the sea holds the land. And I can't wait to see it. Looks like we're ready for the catch, boys. Now all that's left to do is hold until we hear the bells ring.
Salty jabs and jeers were customary right before every harvest. One of the Petzolo's competitors, who was already moored in place, taunted Cola's father with a smile.
Ciao, Rice!
Ciao, compare.
That's a scrawny-looking fish you got there. I'd toss him back if I were you.
Oh, I don't know. I I think I'll use him as bait. What do you think?
I think you might scare off the other fish with that face.
Well, we wanted to use your cooking instead, but even the fish don't like it.
Your son's catching on, Rice. He learns from the best. In bocca al lupo, ragazzi.
Creepy. Good luck to you too, compare. Ciao.
Cola waved his coppola in farewell to their friendly rivals when the Rais commanded his son's attention.
The sun's getting closer. It'll be any moment now, ragazzi. Gather round. Let us remember our ancestors who plundered these seas for generations.
As was tradition, the three Tonorotti lowered their heads and held each other's hands.
Looks like Neptune is calm today. Let's hope he stays that way. But whether the sea be still or ceaseless, we must work. So steel yourselves, boys. But first, you remember our dead. Those who these waves have taken from us with a prayer. Na reca materna all'armicedi santi priatori ri nostri morti. God grant them eternal rest.
May God grant it.
May Saint Teresa grant us fair winds and calm seas.
Let her do it.
May we have strong hands and strong nets.
May we do it.
May Saint Peter bless us with a good catch. Vai, vai, vai!
Thousands of years of seafaring tradition roared to life. The strait became a battleground between man and fish as sailors armed with hooks choked their nets around a thrashing mass of tuna.
But did they get
I was
to
just going to
tuna?
say that was a riveting sort of like cliffhanger there. You know, tune in to find out more. And you had a sort of like a theatrical viewing event of sorts, right, in October. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we did. We did a sort of first premiere live on October 10th. So that was through a website called Viewsy. So it was really, really nice because it meant that all the actors, because you could hear a bunch of different voices, I'm sure, in here. And we had 7 actors and 5 musicians working on this piece, which was pretty incredible. And I will say we had, of those 7 actors, 4 of them were also musicians. So then we had 1 additional musician and just a huge team. Oh, minestrone, yeah.
You caught that,
Yeah.
huh? That we came up quick and you
Ma
caught
che
that.
bello che parli in italiano. I love it.
So for those who don't understand Italian, what is she saying there?
She says she frequently cooks Italian. She says right now she has even a pan with minestrone.
Very nice. I love soup all year long. Yeah. Are you getting hungry at 2 a.m. now? You're going to raid the kitchen after this?
You got it, better not.
We're making our guests very hungry. Juanita claps and claps. And she's in South Africa. And then Willie in Holland. Bravo, bravo. As she has the minestrone. And the espresso to keep her awake at 2 a.m. Hearts and claps and ovations from Ann Wozniak and Mary Bishop and Tess LaBella and Brava Bernadette and Christopher Joseph. This is just delightful.
Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it.
I love your expressions. You're very humble. You're like, I'm so happy that your face takes on this humble. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. You're almost like surprised to see all of this feedback, but no, that's the way we are here, and it's beautiful material.
Thank you. Well, you know, the thing with theater is you kind of get to see the audience and know what they're feeling, what they're thinking about it. And as lovely as it was to have this live event broadcasting it, you couldn't see any of the audience during it. So you couldn't really tell whether they were enjoying it. And they got messages from people afterward, but you just like to know in the moment that the thing you created is actually...
people are enjoying it and it's impactful and they're connecting with it and the emotion of it and the richness of the story. And you're sort of feeling some of that right now. A lot of the guests say they really feel, even you can see them, through their profile photos on their comments, but that you're feeling sort of our warmth and our community spirit and the vibe that this show has, right? In this
Very
way.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I've done my job.
You've done it
That's the
excellently.
way I've tried to create this atmosphere, because this show really reflects the essence of my personality. It's what I'm all about, the positivity, the levity, the inspiration. We always we're either entertained, informed, educated, and a lot of times all of that happens on the same broadcast. Like right now, Bernadette says MG is absolutely humble and adorable. Marcia says you should be proud of yourself, and I hope you are.
Thank you, Marcia. Oh, thank you. That's really kind.
Folks, she's going to melt in a second. She's going to melt. So with that, why don't we go to clip 3?
I don't know if it's the hour or
Yeah, that's it. Kleenex. Well, there's a lot of emotion, especially when you have it all, it's a lot of anybody that cares, like I've often said that people say, oh, well, I've got butterflies, in my stomach, and that's a bad thing, and I shouldn't have that. And I always tell them, which we all know, the minute you lose the butterflies in your stomach means you are no longer passionate or really care about whatever that is anymore. And it's important. That's a little reminder that you're striving for excellence, that you really want to do your best, and that you love and are passionate about what that thing is. So if you have those butterflies the night before or just before, and then those butterflies disappear as you take control and take over and do your thing, that's a beautiful thing. It reminds you that you really care about it, right?
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, because that is exactly what I used to say to my students who are, of course, real beginners getting onto the stage, and you see the nervousness that first moment before they get on stage, and it's just like, no, this means that you care. This means you're engaging with something that you care, and it's so rare that we get to do things that make us scared because you're scared because you care about the outcome. Yeah, I feel the exact same way.
Were you scared when you first started?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Were you scared when you first started?
Oh gosh. Oh my God. I'm still scared all the time. Like
Yeah.
you said, the day that I stopped getting scared is the day that I quit, because
Right. Yeah, I get that way too. I still, in all these years of doing all this work, television, radio, whatever stage, there are times where it's like a big thing. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. And then you just go out there and you do what you do, and all of a sudden it takes over, and the calm, and it's all that preparation. It's all the striving for excellence. It's all the thinking, and sometimes overthinking that we all tend to do, but it's all of that desire. And there's a lot of elements and pieces to all of these things. So getting it all right and having it smooth. And one of the things we always talk about on the show is how we all strive to make things look easy, make it look effortless, because when people are coming to consume the product, they want to be entertained. They want to be taken away from the stress of life. They don't want to be reminded of how things can go wrong and what, the negativity and all. So they come to be taken away from, and they want to be entertained and informed. And it's up to all of us to make it look so effortless and easy, where people say, oh, I think I can do that too.
Yes, exactly. And I will say the one thing about being a director is that you don't always get that moment of getting to get swept up in the moment, because you sit in the audience and you're like, oh my gosh, I hope it all goes okay. And if it doesn't go okay, there's nothing I can do. Right. So I actually find that, when I was an actor, there was that moment of, okay, now I'm just going to switch on, and it's got to, whatever that nervousness is, it just gets channeled into something else. And when you're a director, you're just like, oh goodness gracious, I'm just going to sit here in the dark and hope for the very best, because you've actually put your whole heart into it, and you have no control in that moment over how it goes. So.
Right. That's right. And there's the bells again. The bells concur. You've got the blessing from above.
Yeah.
They love all the conversations on the show. Tess says, so true, Jim, about the butterflies. Bernadette says, my teenager who acts wants you to know that they think your expressions and gestures are terrific.
Oh, thank you. What a kind compliment. Yeah.
No, that's what this show's all about. Dante, who's watching in San Diego, California, is here. Hi, everyone. Hi, all lovities. And biscottis with warm milk and cinnamon, tucking me in bed, telling stories. This is flashbacks. And
That's how I'm going to go to bed tonight. I'm going to tuck myself in. Scotty,
Jennifer's interested because now we're doing the Italian, and so when she's getting in touch with her Italian side, and then when we have the Irish artists and the Irish side, then it's her me Irish and lots of Irish crack.
Oh yes, well she's from Pennsylvania, so that makes perfect sense. Yeah,
Yes.
I would love to bring one of our shows to Pennsylvania because huge Italian population there.
Absolutely, absolutely, and MG is definitely humble, enjoys her work, and so sweet, great talent and conversation as well. Yep, you better believe it. And here comes clip 3. And do you want to preface clip 3 first as well?
Well, I will say that you will hear the voice of someone very familiar in this one. There's Miss Clara Francesca in there. So.
Clara, that's right. Yeah. And we're looking forward to that. This is great. More comments coming in here. We're seeing all these great comments. Bernadette says, come to Maryland and Washington, D.C.
From your mouth to God's ears.
That's
yes.
The bells were ringing. You could probably just yell out the window, right? And that's it. Maryland, D.C. Put it on the books.
Yeah, write it down. Book it in next year.
Book it, Dano. That's it.
Get rid of COVID and get me over there.
That's it. That's it. You got it. All right. Here comes more entertainment for you as well. We're glad everybody's enjoying it. Thanks for being with us, lovelies from all around the world. Jim Masters and MG live from Sicily, Italy. Here is clip number 3.
The princess pressed further into the city in search of this local sensation. This Colapesce seemed to have his heart in the right place, she thought. She rounded a corner and entered a piazza, where a crowd of people had gathered around a fountain for what seemed like some kind of a street performance. The princess spotted a guitarist, who commanded the attention of all with a flourish on his strings.
Signori, signore, come see the incredible, the marvelous Cola il Pesce! Step right up to see the amazing fish boy, Nicola. That's right, this kid can hold his breath longer and dive deeper than anyone else in the world. You don't believe me? Well, just you wait! Who wants to challenge the amazing fish boy? Come on, don't be shy!
Excuse me, sir, but which one is Cola il Pesce?
He's right there! The kid standing in the fountain!
That young man?
You were expecting scaly skin and webbed feet? He's no Hercules, I'll give you that. But you wait until you see what he can do. We love it! Peepo and I come here every day, don't we, Peepo?
The rules are simple. Place a bet higher than the one before you. If Colapesce goes over your wager, he gets to keep your money. If he comes up early, the closest wager takes the pot. And if he drowns, well, we'll pay you all double! Bets! Scommessi! Scommessi!
10 minutes!
12 minutes!
13 minutes!
15 minutes.
20 minutes!
20 minutes!
Hey, that's my bet! You gotta do a higher one! Didn't you hear the rules?
There is no way someone can stay underwater for 20 minutes. He will drown.
20 minutes is our highest today. Cola, are you ready? Pronto?
Pronto.
Pronti?
This is insane!
Cantate con me! 1, 2, 3, via!
The princess studied the fountain. It must be some kind of trick. But all she could see was Cola, sitting comfortably at the bottom of the pool of water, who smiled and waved at those who squinted at him from the fountain's edge. There was no trickery here. His namesake of Fish Boy seemed to hold water.
And that's it, everyone. 21 minutes and he still has not resurfaced. But now here's the big question. Is he dead?
Morto, he has to be.
The audience held their own breaths in anticipation. The barker waded to Cola's side, placed his hand on Cola's shoulders and lifted him from the water.
Incredibile! How is he able to do this?
All right. We've got time for one more today. Let's make it a good one. Who wants to make the opening wager? Scomessi?
25 minutes!
People, you don't got that kind of money.
We're at 29 minutes, folks. Scomessi, bets? Anyone want to make it 30?
2 hours.
Everyone stared in the direction of this unfamiliar woman. Even the barker took a moment to regain his footing.
Get out of here. You don't have the money to make a bet like that.
I will wager 200 on it.
200?
The princess nodded, her eyes fixed on Cola Pesce. Cola was in disbelief. 200 could change his family's life. She and Cola stood measuring each other up when the princess held aloft a hefty coin purse and placed it on the fountain's edge.
200.
I'll do it.
My friend, are you sure you can do this?
Watch me. Pronti? Pronti! Contate con me! 1, 2, 3, via!
Real cliffhanger at that time.
It's like, but wait, there's more. What happened?
Yeah. And I
Those
feel
are
like
very well edited clips because it keeps people wanting more. I love it. Yeah, that's perfect. That's cool.
I realized listening to that one that something that I didn't mention before that I should mention is that every single sound effect in the entire audiobook was all made by us. So anytime you're hearing those wind or the waves or whatever, that was all us, the actors, making that sound. That was something we did really intentionally to kind of keep that experience of what we did with the original, where, like I was saying, it was no lights, no sound effects,
Wow.
not even really costumes. It was really just us making the whole story out of what we had.
Mm.
Oh, thank you, Willie. I love that she writes in Italian. It's so nice. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is funny. So that's exciting. So that particular production, how long is the actual full thing?
It's about 2.5 hours from start to finish. So it's not a super short audiobook, but also not like one of those multi-hour ones, So we've been actually, we call it an audiobook. It's a lot like an audio drama as well. That's kind of why we went with audio adventure, because it's got music, it's got multiple actors, it's got a story. It's great for families. It's something that people can listen to together and enjoy together. So we went with audio adventure for what to call it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you find that people listen to the whole thing in its entirety, or do they listen to some and then go back to it? What seems to be the method that people are doing it so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's broken into 8 chapters, so you can kind of take a break at a chapter if you want to. But 2.5 hours is like, if you've got a nice long car ride coming up, or if you got a rainy afternoon and you just want to sit in and do a puzzle, or if you're in lockdown,
Right.
That's a great time to put something on in the background.
Something on to take away from the negativity and everything going on in the real world. You can sort of immerse yourself and be swept away by this incredible story and the performances, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I said put it on in the background, but I feel like it does demand quite a lot of your attention. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend putting it on and kind of tuning in once in a while, because the story really does, take a lot of imagination to go with it. But I like to listen to it while doing a jigsaw puzzle, because I love jigsaw puzzles.
Well, that's a good idea. Exactly. Wouldn't necessarily put it on during surgery in the OR if you're the one doing the surgery, but other areas do apply.
I'll leave that in mind the next time I'm in the surgery.
It even calms you down during surgery.
Yeah.
So working on another What do you
Yes.
see is coming up next for the theater company and projects? And yeah, you're getting all excited. You're like, oh, I have
I
a
am.
lot going on up there, and we're gonna share it with you.
Oh, I'm always excited about what's coming next. I mean, of course, we still have this audiobook. It's available for download through our website, and we're about to start pushing it out into some others channels through like Authors Republic. So it will start coming up in like Audible and things like that really, really soon. Fingers crossed. Oh, thank you, John. And so that's kind of what's immediately in the future. But then looking a little bit
He's a
longer.
brilliant guitarist. He was a guest on our show, and he's a dear
Ooh.
friend. And he's a professor. I think is it Baruch College or no in New Jersey. But he's done performances at Baruch. But he's always back and forth in Italy, and he plays every type of guitar instrument, the bouzouki. I mean everything. And we had him on, and he was upstairs in his like studio. You can actually see it in the archives at Jim Masters TV. We did a whole show with him, and he's a great guy. And he just was whipping out every piece of instruments. Like, and we have this kind of guitar, and this is 100 years old. And we have this little one here, and this one sounds like this, and this one, as much the teacher as much as the musician.
Oh, that's amazing.
And he's enjoying the work and familiar as well, which I think is fantastic.
That's incredible. I wish I had that. That's one thing. I'm very musically uninclined. I really can't sing.
No singing either?
No, very, very little. Like I did the character roles in musical theater where you could like put on a funny voice, and that was about it. So I'm really jealous of those who have incredible musical ability. And, you know, a lot of my collaborators luckily do. So I kind of leave that to them. I'm like, can you just make something that feels really juicy in this moment? And then they come out with something like that. And I'm like, perfect.
Yeah,
Right.
That's good. Sold.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I wanted. Thank you very much.
So as far as some of the cool things that are coming up, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited for our next production. Of course, it's been postponed due to COVID. I mentioned that we were having an open residency coming up with these 4 amazing international artists, one who is Iranian American, one who's based in the UK, one who is Finnish but is living in Spain, and one who is an Italian living in New York City, all of them working in really different types of theater and performance. And they're all hopefully going to be in Sicily with me next summer, building their own individual projects and working on it with our community. So I'm so psyched for that. But then on sort of a personal level, the project that I'm working on is a new production called the Hades and Persephone Project. And that is the next Trinacria Theatre Company show. And it's going to be a while, I think, unfortunately, until we get the full production up, because of course we have to wait until COVID clears up a little bit, because it really is intended to be a live theater production. But really excitingly, we have funding from the Arts Council of England to work on it. So hopefully sometime in the spring, we'll be able to get back to doing that, which I can't wait for. But that is a blend of these 3 Sicilian myths. All of which are sort of around these relationships, these romantic relationships, forbidden romantic relationships between a native Sicilian woman and a man who is a migrant from either an African or a Middle Eastern nation in Sicily. And of course, there's a huge history there of Sicily and its relationship to immigrants and foreigners and what have you. And these are all existing myths. One is Hades and Persephone. Oh, thank you, John. It's www.trinacriatheatre.com. That's Trina. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at spelling out loud. It is absolutely my kryptonite. Hang on. TRINACRIATHEATRE.com. I think I did that right. Thank you for asking. So that is our website.
And they can see the spelling and the graphic on the font on the bottom there. Yeah.
Yes, there it is. So it's www.trinacriatheatre.com. Thank you for helping me there. I don't know what happened that day in kindergarten.
It's basically everybody watching, see the name right there, Trinacria Theatre Company.com. Right there. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to add in the artistic director and all the rest. Founder.
No.
So yeah, tell us more again about some of the cool things you said you have coming up. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So that is the Hades and Persephone story, which many people know from Greek mythology. But then there are these two other stories, one that's super local to Sicily called Matta and Grifone. And they are this amazing, amazing couple who are often said to be the ancestors of all Messinese people. And she was a white Sicilian princess, and he was a black Middle Eastern conqueror. And their love was forbidden, but they fell in love, and they rebuilt the entire city together, even though it was initially forbidden. And then the final story is from the Decameron by Boccaccio, which was written during a plague, really famously. It's a series of short novellas that these short stories that these people, oh, thank you, there it is. Oh, without the company, though, TrinacriaTheatre.com. So that's
no company.
Yes, www.TrinacriaTheatre.com. The company is important.
The company would be very long, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. We decided to try and shorten at least
I mean,
a little bit.
you're welcome to stop by his company.
Yeah, there you go. We always like some company. Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, where do the ideas come from? How do you come up with these fantastic ideas? And just as far as the content, it's really great stuff and unique, not something that you're seeing everywhere else. And that's what I think is very cool about this story.
Yeah, well, I get really inspired by the myths that exist here that I know about. Yeah, there it is.
We move fast at the Gym Master Show.
Oh, you're good. I didn't even see it. So Matta and Grifone is one that there's a celebration for the two of them every single August 15th, which is a big holiday here in Sicily and Messina especially. We have this massive holiday every August 15th, and there are these giant statues of Matta and Grifone. They're paraded. So it's like seeing those, hearing that story, or kind of seeing them and not really quite knowing what the story was, and then going, oh, what is that? What is that story? What is that legend? How is it so embedded in our culture and we don't really know what it is? I kind of want to go in and find it and figure out what it is. Same thing with Hades and Persephone. I actually got really into it first because I went to a museum near here, and there was a cult of Kor, who is a version of Persephone before she married Hades. And I was like, wow, there's this historic connection to this goddess here on this island. I want to know more about it. And then I was reading the Ted Hughes translations of Ovid's Metamorphoses, which if any of you guys want a really great, easy, beautiful read into Greek, that is the one. Ted Hughes translation of Ovid's Metamorphoses. It's just poetry straight into your heart. So I was reading that and connecting it and going, oh my gosh, there's this whole story here that I need to dig into. So it usually starts somewhere like that. And then it starts from the place itself, where I sort of start to go this village is very, very abandoned. The one that I'm in right now, it's about 60% abandoned. So we have all of these empty spaces that used to be used by the community. Oh, thank you, Tess. It's really nice. Prego. Thank you, Anne. Yeah, so I
kind of overwhelming, isn't it?
It really is. This is an incredible community. Yeah, speaking of community, you've got an incredible community here. It's really so warm and loving and beautiful, and I'm just so grateful to be with you guys this evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. So you're inspired you're an observer of life. You're inspired by a lot of different things that are going on around you, as well as keeping, close to the historical nature of it. How do your parents feel, your family, especially with them, hailing from the area, and here you are celebrating their culture and history and going back. A lot of people spend so much time trying to chase forward, and you're going back and really celebrating it in certain ways and telling these stories. Tell us about, some of that feedback that you get from family and friends and others.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think a lot of people from this area think about leaving it. And it's a little bit crazy that somebody who was born in America and raised in America is coming back so firmly. Of course, we all came back every year to see our nanas and nanos and, to see our family. But to the extent that I have is, I think, a little bit crazy. And my parents are recognizing that that is crazy, kind of, in a lot of ways. They're a little bit like, why can't you just be a lawyer? But they do love that what I'm doing is very much about this place that they grew up, that they're from, that is really deeply in their hearts, and they're really supportive of it. And, you know, every day they're supportive of me in that. And so I'm really grateful, because a lot of people don't have that as young artists. So I am grateful, even though they don't understand it, even though they're like, what? What is going on? When are you going to go to law school?
Yeah. When are you going to get this out of the system? And
I think they still think being an artist is a phase.
what do you see as the future of the theater company and of your career and everything that you're doing?
What I would love to see as the future of this theater company, and like my idealist dream, is I know that, you know, this village is becoming more and more abandoned for reasons that are good reasons. You know, there isn't the same kind of infrastructure here that there are in more populated areas around here. Salute, Jen. They're looking for places where they can feel more comfortable. So I understand that, and I understand that we can't revitalize the economy, but I do think that the arts and theater play a really vital part in a healthy community and a healthy society. And so just by doing that at sort of a grassroots level, I'm hoping that it will inspire some more growth, some more development in this area. If what we can do is bring folks in, attract people here, and also engage the local community at the same time, to be making art and to be telling stories together, then I just would love to see that, like 1 week every summer where this place totally comes back to life and every house is full and every window is open. You can hear music coming from every window, and you could see somebody practicing something in another house, and just all of these empty spaces are being used and filled to bring things to life and to make creative work together. And that creative work can then like go out into the world, like postcards, and grow and develop and find new audiences and new places, but that it always kind of was rooted here and it came from here. So I'd love to see the artist residency grow. I'd love to see it grow into something like a festival, would be a really amazing dream. We're sort of trying to work towards that, but it's a really, really involved thing. So we do it in a really small scale, where we do kind of festival events while we're over there that might not be theater related, but we, you know, we do stuff together with the community that isn't theater, it's not art, but it's just to get together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Do you also see film and other art forms tied in, film or television or other things tied in with the theater? Is there that in your bucket list as well?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Willie's asking about the bucket list as well. Yeah.
Yes, bucket list. So my bucket list for productions, the Hades and Persephone project, I really want it to actually take place throughout the entire village. So not one single place. You as an audience member would actually be moving through the whole village. That's sort of a bucket list project. And then I have other bucket list projects that involve like going out into the mountains a little bit away from the village and like having experiences out there and bringing in artists in so many different disciplines. Like you said, you know, filmmakers, and I like, you want to talk really crazy bucket list. There is like a crazy historical drama that I would love to make movie that would cost literally millions or billions of dollars and would have to be like Titanic level. But that would be like really serious bucket list if we're going crazy and looking like 50 years into the future. Probably not anytime soon, but
it's on the list.
Yeah. You got to have the big ones and the small ones and everything in between.
Why does this bring you such great blessing and such joy? Obviously, you can tell just from your, you know, the responses and from the way you're being touched by even these comments and just our conversation as we are with you. What brings you those great joys and blessings and inspirations to continue, as difficult as a lot of this can be behind the scenes? There's so many elements to all of this. Anything creative takes time, and it takes a lot of passion, and there's blood, sweat, and tears, and weekends and nights and days, and there's no clock sometimes until the only clock is the clock when the production, anything, film, radio, television, stage, the clock is the production start time. and end time, but everything prior to that, and at the clock, you know, oh, we got to go in on Saturday. Oh, we got to go in on the holiday to do that. Or you got to, with all of that said, what are some of those things that still give you that fire, that passion? You've been able to create something very special and unique at an early time in your life as well, too. Not something that's happening later. It's now, and you're growing with it, which is really, really cool and inspiring to others who might want to do something similar, who maybe are students or just starting out and saying, wow, she did that. Maybe I can do something. Those passions, those inspirations that you have to do it all. Tell us about some of that.
Yeah, I am really grateful to have been able to create something that, you know, I like. In what world would I be able to find a job that combines serving my specific community and making theater? You know, it doesn't exist. So I had to make it for myself, right?
From the ground floor up, grassroots, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think what has brought me the most blessing of all of it, and I remember the first night that we performed Colabesce here in Patslow. Thank you, Robbie. You guys are so kind. My goodness.
It's the only thing we allow on this show.
It's really, really wonderful.
There's plenty of the other elsewhere.
Yes, that is true. We get it all over the place. So to have this space that is just so clearly positive and wonderful and warm is so lovely. But it was actually just over there. You can't see it, but on the other side of my window, there's the piazza in front of the church. And I decided really early on that when we were going to be doing these shows, we weren't going to be doing them like in closed doors, no tickets, no, like, there wasn't going to be the formality of like, oh, there's an etiquette that comes with going to the theater that you have to follow. And it means you come dressed a certain way and you act a certain way and you sit in the dark very quietly and you pay close attention. I was like, no, we're going to do a show. We're going to do it out on the piazza. The kids are probably going to be running around. They might pay attention. If we're doing really well, they will pay attention, but we're going to have to fight for that. And like other people, you know, this is not a theater going audience. This isn't folks who, you know, go into these hallowed halls. And I've said this elsewhere, but sometimes it can feel a bit like going into a temple for a religion that you're not familiar with, that you don't, you know, it's like, when do I sit? When do I stand? When do I say the thing? Like, you don't know when it comes to these really, you know, sacred art institutes. I was like, I don't want that. I want this to be something that everybody feels like they can engage in, that everybody feels like they're a part of. So that was what we strove for. And I just remember that first night out on that piazza for Colabesce in 2016, feeling like it was the absolute most alive I'd ever been, and feeling like it was the reason theater exists. That was like what theater was made to do in the first place. It wasn't meant to cost hundreds of dollars and be a little bit boring, which sometimes it is. Sometimes, most of the times it's not. I love theater. I'm not going to be down on theater because obviously I love it. But I wanted it to feel really alive and like it was really shared with everyone. And we really did achieve it with that first show. And I was so thrilled. Oh, Marcia, you must have a gigantic heart. My goodness, I'm blushing. My face is very, very warm, you guys. But
it's getting hot in here.
Like, it really is. Oh my goodness. Oh, you guys are so kind. It's so nice. Thank you all so much. Yeah, I hope that you all can be part of this. You know, I hope that this is what we really want to do with Trinacria Theatre Company, really make theater something that everybody has access to, that everybody, and not just access as an audience member, because like, yes, that's nice to go and see a show, but isn't it so wonderful to go see a show and feel like you were a part of it too? And like, what you saw was something that you actually gave to the show, because that was a lot of what our experience was. We talked to people and we're like, tell us your version of Colabesce. And their versions of Colabesce made it into the show. And so you could see that in their faces. They were like, oh, I did that. Like, that came from me. And I'll never forget the sight of like this little 5-year-old girl. We had this symbol for fire that was kind of like this clap and this, and I just saw her like running around the piazza afterward doing that. And it was like, yeah. You know, that's it. Like, you feel like that's yours too. So let's keep going with that. And you give me something now and we'll put it in the show.
Exactly. Isn't that nice? Church bells live from Sicily, Italy. Where are you going to find that anywhere else but on the Jim Master Show Live? Another world premiere. We always have world premieres. It's perfect. Perfectly done. Bernadette has a very nice comment here as well. Big one here. Thank you for being another theater role model for my teen who wishes to become a performer, as you see in my photo. And there you can see her in the photo,
Yes.
actress, musical theater performer since she was a wee one. Her fabulous teen. We love our local theaters, especially the one at which I'm head usher and house manager.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Alana, keep it going. Yes, we need more like you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's true too. I am, and I know definitely you are, a storyteller, right? Teller of stories. And that's it's a beautiful role to play in life, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's really what it is at the heart of it, isn't it? It's storytelling. That's kind of what it all boils down to. I call myself a theater director, but that doesn't really feel quite right. And even theater maker, you know, I'm interested in stories, however we tell them, wherever we tell them.
Exactly. Jen asks this question that she asks generally of all the guests. And that is, what is probably being at the theater and being involved with the theater, I would say, is your Zen, one of your Zen places. I've mentioned to the audience that, of course, being with loving family and friends and my career in music, cycling, tennis, and the ocean for me, because I grew up here on the coast, on the East Coast, and you know, because you're in the Boston area generally. The water, the coast, just it speaks to me. I'm swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing, whatever it is to get near the ocean and in it or by it, for me is huge. So her question is to the guests: what is your Zen place? Is it the mountains or is it the ocean? So now she's usually in Boston, which is not far from mountains, but near the coast. But right now she's deep into the mountains in Sicily, Italy. Do you have a Zen place, or is it both? Or
I was going to say, do you have a Zen place is a really good question. It was like, am I ever Zen?
There's her question. She's in Allentown, Pennsylvania. She loves the mountains. I would say that most guests have said ocean, probably proximity to it, wherever they live. Bernadette says ocean. But Jen will not be able to sleep tonight if you don't let her know what the Zen is for you.
All right, Jen.
Stage.
Yes. All right, Jen. I've got an answer for you. And I'm afraid it's a little bit of a cheat because, as Jim mentioned, I'm from Boston. I live up on a hill in Boston, but we're not far from the coast. So I've got that kind of, I want to be able to smell the salt air once in a while, but I also like to be up high where I can see things. I'm very short in real life. So, but also here, I am up in the mountains, but I'm up in the mountains with a beautiful view of the Strait of Messina, of the water. So it's got to be the mountains by the sea. That's it.
Good answer. Very diplomatic. Very diplomatic. You should run for politics. The mountains by the sea. I like that. That'll be the next performance at the theater, The Mountains by the Sea. Look for that coming in June of 2021.
Yes.
All in Italian. That is funny.
Exactly.
Tess Lavella says, "What a beautiful guest!" And
Tess.
yeah, so you're. Would you say you're living the dream?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, to some extent, yeah. I mean, the dream would be for there to not be COVID, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should say not in this year necessarily, but overall in the choices you've made and the roadmap you've made for yourself, which of course never happens single-handedly. There's the love and support of family and friends and colleagues and fellow creatives, and it takes a village type thing for us to be able to, we're the ones who start the engine, but sometimes there's others who are checking the oil and who are, putting the gas in and polishing us off and everything, so we can do the things we want to do. And you're aware of that, and you're thankful for all of that, for all these blessings and living the dream in a way, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I have to say, Trinacria Theatre Company is an organization, which means it's not just me, it's not just one person, it's a whole team of people who give it so much all the time. And without them, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So I'm extraordinarily grateful for all the support that I've received from them, from all the supporters of Trinacria, because, you know, we're a really tiny company without any regular funding. So we kind of survive on just people who love us and want us to keep going, which is incredible. And artists who are willing to dedicate their time to doing this because they also think it's worth doing. And the fact that I found so many people in my life who have been able to say yes to that is like crazy. I still don't quite believe it. So I do feel really grateful. So in that respect, that is the dream. Yes. Yeah.
Do you see at some point, obviously this year's a little bit different time-wise and everything, holiday themed performances and things of that nature as well, tying into, you know, Christmas in Italy, like all of these different holiday related things as well as you go along?
Yeah, I mean, who knows what the future holds? Right now, the reason why we do sort of the one show a year, more or less, is just sort of the limitations of the resources that we have. But as we grow and develop, I'd love to see us doing more and more and more, and to be doing some sort of more light and flexible stuff, especially around here in this community, to be able to just put together something, especially for like the young people who don't have too much to do around here. And we're actually really, really eager for something to do. It would be fun to get them involved with something like a holiday show as well. Yeah. We did a little show with the kids last summer. That was so cute. Oh my gosh.
Isn't it great when you get a chance to work with them?
Oh, it was the best. I loved it.
Well, I tell you, this was absolutely amazing. And to share all of this, especially during these times, the inspiration, everybody has loved it. I've loved it. And I can't believe we've been chatting for almost 2 hours.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine? If we counted the amount of times every 15 minutes the bells rang, we would have known. But it goes by so quickly. If folks want to learn more, they can go to the website too. But what about folks that might want to, I mean, I'm sure do you accept donations, or how does that work to keep things going?
Yeah, absolutely. We do survive on donations from our donors. That is kind of how this entire operation has been able to get as far as it has. So if you do feel so inclined to support us, we would be so, so grateful to call you part of our family. Oh, thank you. It's so lovely to be here. Oh, you guys are all so
Renee's in Iowa, and Merlin's in Innerkip, Ontario, Canada.
Oh my gosh, in Canada, we're such an international group here. It's amazing.
We've had Japan, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Iceland, you name it, and Hawaii, Portugal, Argentina, Brazil. We're still waiting. So if you have anybody that you can ring up, we're waiting for a viewer from the Arctic Circle and Antarctica. I think those are the only places we haven't reached yet, or maybe we're reaching them, but they just haven't, let themselves be known. They're a little shy, and maybe they're one of the many viewers, but they haven't chimed in yet. But Arctic Circle, Antarctica. We got Iceland.
I mean, yeah, you're pretty close. I will definitely keep an eye out, or an ear out for, any penguins that are wandering around. All
penguins. Yeah, that's right.
Penguins and polar bears. See if I can find them.
Penguins and polar bears. It sounds like a children's book, doesn't it?
It does.
Penguins and polar bears next on PBS.
You actually
write that down.
Yeah.
Write that down. Let's work on that. And when you need a host and an MC or an extra, I've done all that work. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope that all of you will be in Sicily someday to come see our work, take part in a festival that we're working on building towards. It would be amazing. That would be the ultimate. So, definitely keep it in mind if you want to sign up for our newsletter for whenever we do get back to presenting work. We'd love to share it in your communities or have you coming into our communities. And if you liked the audiobook, that's also for sale on our website right now. So you can download it and listen to the entire thing and let us know what you think. We really hope that you enjoy it.
Absolutely. A few more comments coming in here. Marsha Watson says, such a lovely evening. Thank you, Marsha.
For me too.
Christopher Joseph in Ohio says, very delightful interview with this lovely, talented lady. Kathleen Walker, you're such a sweet lady, enjoying the show. She is in New York City. Tess LaBella in Florida. What a beautiful guest.
Thank you, Tess.
As guest and dear friend. Let's see. And Renee and Ira, thanks for being on the show tonight. Merlin, it was lovely. MG.
Thank you,
Jennifer
Merlin.
says, I got to go home to Italy.
Yes.
Ken, her better half doesn't fly, so I'll leave him here home.
I wonder how I'll feel about that.
That's do a whole other show on that, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, MG. Write that down. There might be a story that line there too. The Italian romance. Thank you, MG. You're a ray of sunshine and inspiration to the next generation.
Thank you, Bernadette. I hope Alana, best wishes. Go get it.
Yes. Tess LaBella, you are so wonderful. Tess bakes these amazing chocolate chip cookies. And when I had her on as a guest, I was talking about how I love cookies. And Christmas is very big in our family, very, very big family. And my mother, tremendous, all these different kinds of Christmas cookies in the house and just everything. Christmas is huge. So what happens? I get this delivery in the mail from Florida, from Tess. And it's like 2 dozen fresh baked, chunky and soft chocolate chip cookies.
Oh my gosh.
About a week ago. You know what happened to them? They're gone.
Gone. You asked me what the dream was. I'm not living the dream. That's the dream.
That's a good dream. Yes, that's a good dream. And for my birthday, Willie in Holland sent me stroopwafels.
Oh, I love stroopwafels.
They're good too. You are so wonderful. Thank you so much. Your personality is infectious. Heart, heart, heart. Thank you, Jim, for another fabulous show. Best of everything to you. That's beautifully said. Such a lovely evening. Our pleasure. Marcia, Christine says, very enjoyable show together tonight, MG. Yeah, I like having, I'm a conversationalist and a communicator. It's what I've done for years. And I like a really good conversation that just flows and doesn't necessarily have to be, I've done a lot of scripted and teleprompter and all of that, but I like conversations that just are genuine, authentic, and they roll. You know what I mean? They just roll. There's no pre-prepared questions or any of that. There's plenty of interviews where you can do pre-prepared questions, and I've done that in my professional work, but you just let it roll and you communicate and commiserate, and and those are the best. Those are the best.
I totally agree.
And I love live too. That's why I love doing that. We could easily tape these. Some people say, oh, do you tape in advance and everything? We could, but to me, it loses something. I like that edge of anything can happen and the responses are fresh. The viewers are here responding live. And I've just done so much live like you do, so many things live that it's
so nice to hear from folks as we're talking. Like, that's just the loveliest thing in the world. Yeah, absolutely.
In North Carolina, it's a very enjoyable show together tonight, MG. You've accomplished so much, and there's so much more in your future. Thanks for sharing your life and work with us. A treat to hear the bells ringing too. That's from the church, and they ring every 15 minutes. She was able to get that arranged just for our show, which is absolutely brilliant of her. Bernadette, stay safe and stay well.
You too.
You're very welcome, Marcia. And Willie says,
dat Jans bedankt. That I probably said that horribly. I'm so sorry.
So do you want to translate for the audience?
Yes, she said, goodbye, we'll see you and thank you. Addio, ci vediamo e grazie. I got that, Willie. Thank you.
Very beautiful. And that's from that wonderful Dutch woman too, right?
Yeah.
Holland, Willie. Juanita says, great interview. Thanks, Jim and MG. Good luck with your amazing journey.
Thank you.
She's there in South Africa. Mary Bishop in Florida. Wonderful. Thank you as well.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you.
I'm the MC. She's the MG.
Oh, right. Oh, gosh.
But that's
you.
That's you. No, that's you. That's for you. That's for you. Funny. Tess goes, ha. What does she say? Ha, 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 ha. Talking about those cookies. Thank you, MG and Jim. Thank you both. And that's from Marilyn Hammond in Wichita, Kansas. Jennifer Barry says, thank you both so much. You brought back special loving Italian memories. Salute. Yeah.
Salute.
Wonderful, Jennifer. And Christopher in Ohio. Jim Masters was eating chocolate chip cookies in front of us. Yes, when we had Michael Mackesy, the Broadway actor and producer, on, Michael wanted to see the cookies because that was the day I revealed them. I think Christopher missed our Foodie Festival show. Bernadette says MJ has made my list of favorite guests, joining Tess and Allison and Michael and
If I wasn't blushing before.
and Ryan and Neil and Mairead and so many guests. And we've had shows we've even had shows without guests. When I started the show, it was just me talking to the camera and, and whoever watched, and then we just built it from there and continue to build it. You know how that goes with building and tweaking and fine tuning. Thank you for an awesome evening from Anne. Great conversation tonight. Thank you from Kathy Short.
Thank you, Kathy.
Kathleen Walker in New York. This is my Italian on my mom's side. Don't speak Italian. I only know some bad words in Italian.
That's where you start. That's where you start learning all languages.
Even the non-Italian kids know how to say some of those Italian expressions.
Oh, yeah.
That is funny. That is funny. Great evening. Really, really a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely loved it. And we toast you. We always toast our viewers as well as our guests. So we toast you.
I have a cup full of pens.
Oh, there you go.
Salute. Thank you so much for having me on. This was the loveliest. I really enjoyed it so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I don't have anything much in here. Usually it's something like lemonade or iced tea, but tonight it's a little cinnamon flavor. No, gingerbread flavored Kahlua.
Ooh, that sounds wonderful.
Just a little.
Yeah.
I sing for my supper. This was really great. And I really hope that the show met your expectations and that you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, my friend.
I had the best time. Thank you so much. This is way better than what I stayed up for last night by like a million. So.
Which is watching the election returns, right? Yeah, I know. Yes. Which will be going on for a while, I think. But thank you. I appreciate that.
The bar was set very low with that one, but is way, 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 way better.
Let me see. How do I take that?
No, this was actually one of the loveliest evenings I've had in such a long time. Thank you so very much. I really loved it. I really loved meeting your whole community. This was such a fantastic, fantastic night. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you for having me on.
That's my pleasure. And all of our cast of characters say goodnight to as well. George Burns, who's always here watching.
Oh, I love it.
He's one of our cast of characters. He says, thank you for being with us. And of course, Jeannie, who's here. Hi, Jimmy Jeannie. She's in the bottle. Yeah, here's the actual bottle. It's the real bottle, hand painted. Yeah, it was a gift.
Joking.
The real bottle. She's in there blinking at you.
Oh my God, I watched that show so much as a kid. I love that. That's amazing.
She's there. And who else do we have? Sent to me by the wife of the actor who played him, Bob Denver, who played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island, sent me the Gilligan bottle. Bob Denver. Aloha, Jim Dreamer Denver, his lovely wife, who was a guest on our show. You can see it in the archives at Jim Masters TV. So Gilligan says, thanks for being with us. I keep telling everybody the same thing, but we had one night of nostalgia and I brought all childhood toys out and all of that in the beginning weeks of the show, thinking of different topics, different things to do. And I brought out the Matchbox cars and the kaleidoscopes and all the games, and everybody was talking about all their childhood toys and the dolls they had and the toys they had and the big wheels and all this. And so then these became part of the show, and Dreama, Bob Denver's wife, Bob, who played Gilligan, said, you're missing something on the set. I said, my God, what could we be possibly missing on this set? She said, you're missing a Gilligan. So she sent a Gilligan.
That is awesome. That is so cool.
Says goodnight as well.
Hello.
This was a childhood toy, believe it or not.
Oh my gosh.
With his blue feet made of porcelain. Isn't that cool? Does that put a smile on your face or what?
Yeah.
And then who else do we have here? We've got Silver, who we got actually on a television shoot when I was in Europe. Silver hails from Switzerland, aptly named Silver the Lab.
Oh, I love it. I love this.
Beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
Really, really cool. So silver's there. And then we have in the back, which came as a surprise gift, because I was talking about my sister and I, when we were really small, we had these stuffed animals and they were pandas. She had one, I had one. And I didn't want to give mine up when I was a kid, but the leg was opening up, the stuffing was coming out. My mother's like, we have to part with it because it's coming apart and everything. So all of a sudden a friend had heard that. And when the birthday came in September, a huge box arrived at the house, and in it was this is huge, sitting on a chair, this giant panda Lin certificate of authenticity, the whole thing. And so now Lin, the panda, is part of the set as well. And you could tickle underneath, lift the head and tickle underneath.
I heard you say Lin the panda at the beginning. I was like, where's
Lin? So and it's huge. If I lift it, it's about this big. It's just really, really cool. So these things are just part of the show, and you appreciate this. Usually I do it in the beginning, but I usually start with lights, camera, action. The Jim Masters show live starts, and then you got the lights, camera, action.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, and this actually, believe it or not, this hangs on the wall. So this was on the wall in one of the spare rooms, and I said, you know what? At this point, if we ever rename the Jim Masters show live, I think we're just going to call it Off the Wall, because so many things have been taken off the walls of the house for the set. You know how it is. You do what you can. Oh, that picture. I'm going to take that picture off and it's going to be part of the set.
The number of things in my household that made their way into a show and the number of things I keep around just in case I might need them for a show is too many.
Welcome to our lovely family.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What a wonderful thing.
Christopher asks, are you a fan of singer George Paris? George is a singer. I've interviewed him before. I know George. George is a singer in actually Greece, where he performs a lot with Mario Frangoulis. They're big over in Greece. What a kind thing to say and be included with these amazing, talented lovedies. That's beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
Same time for Willie and for you, right? 3 a.m. And what does she say there? Gap? Is that mean?
I wonder if that's like yawn.
Like, yawning. Yeah. Very, very nice. Grazie. Grazie.
Grazie.
Really cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. And do you know any Messina's, Solanos, Grassos, some of our Italian cousins?
I have actually heard Grasso is the last name. There are a lot of Grassos around. So
in the area?
I might even know some in Boston, actually, some Grassos, or maybe low Grassos, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I will keep an ear to the ground, though, for them.
The very
and for
first,
penguins.
Yes, the Penguins. The very first female governor in the United States was the governor of Connecticut, Ella Grasso.
There you go.
Very, very first female governor. Absolutely. Well, my friend, this was superior and brilliant and fantastic. And having you on the show was a real gift. We have everything here. and if things get a little rough for you, just relax and breathe. Just relax on top of the mountain there in Sicily.
Yes.
You be well. You take care. You're welcome back anytime. Keep me posted. Text me, shoot me a note. Keep me posted on how you're doing, other things that are coming up, and we'll share them with everybody. And I really thank you for all the time, your brilliant talent you've shared with us, your wonderful story. Wishing you nothing but continued success, and hope you'll be back. And again, hope you enjoyed your time with us. It was terrific on this end.
Thank you so much. I'm sure it will be back. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for having me on. It was such a treat. It really was. I really appreciate it and love this community. Well, wonderful. You're all lovedies. Just the levity of it was wonderful.
Now she's going to have a good cry.
Yeah, I'm going to fall asleep in about 10 seconds.
You be well. Spread the word about the show, and you can see this on YouTube if you want to share the link and everything. And you have a good night. You rest well, And again,
Thank
thanks.
you.
I know it's late in the hour there, so we really do appreciate all the time, my friend.
It was so worth it. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. You take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Take care. Ciao.
Ciao.
Wasn't she great? Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was really terrific having her on the show, and appreciate the, the late hour too. Love the show and our new Lovity night all. You as well, Christopher. Have a good night all. And now we understand. Thank you, Willie. And it's late for you as well. Hey, I want to tell you some of the amazing things we have coming up. You're very welcome, Bernadette. That's great too. Great show. Love the art of conversation. So it's a beautiful person. Yes, I love shows where we are conversing too. That's how this show really, really started. As it's a talk show. As much as it is entertainment and information, this is a talk show. And I love when we get a chance to talk with all of you as well. I just want to tell you about a couple of really cool things that are happening. Tomorrow night, we have another extraordinary guest that is coming on. And I have a whole list here. Actually, if you go on YouTube, you can see some of the guests that are coming up. Tomorrow, brilliant actress and producer Bree Henderson will be with us live. She's amazing. Then on Friday night, from the group Big Rain, Bruce Guyan, who is a fantastic musician, performer, singer, songwriter. He's going to be here and he's going to perform live. He's all excited. He's going to be here on Friday night. So actress and producer Bree Henderson is here tomorrow. She's amazing. She's very funny. She's awesome. Friday night live, we have Bruce, who's going to be here, and we're looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome as well. And he's just an amazing talent. And he and I have been chatting, in preparation for this episode we have coming up of the show on Friday. Catch that on our YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out or subscribed to the YouTube channel, be sure to do that. And then on Saturday, live from Ireland at a very special time, 3 p.m. Eastern, because for him, it's going to be 8 p.m. in Ireland. This is 21-year-old singer, songwriter, musician. He's taking Europe by storm. This is Oscar Blue. He's a tremendous singer and songwriter, brilliant musician, and he's climbing up the charts. He's got a new CD out, Oscar Blue. And he's going to be with us on Saturday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone. So that is this Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, and Europe. Again, a lot of people excited about him being on the show exclusively. Oscar Blue is going to be here Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. Western European time. That is Ireland, Scotland, and England, the UK. And that's exclusively on our YouTube channel, YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Coming up November 15th, the one and only multi-platinum selling record producer, musician, brilliant songwriter, legend extraordinaire, Phil Coulter is going to be here. That is a week from this Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, and England. Phil Coulter, this is really extraordinary. He's going to be here as well. Coming up in December, he starred in Riverdance. He's part of the High Kings. He's a great singer, songwriter, musician. Darren Holden is going to be here. Next Wednesday, November 11th, remember Glenn Scarpelli, who played Alex Hardis in the 1970s TV series, which you can still see in reruns, One Day at a Time, Norman Lear's brilliant sitcom. Glenn Scarpelli is going to be here. There he is today. Great actor, singer. He owns a television station in Sedona, Arizona as well. He's going to be here a week from tonight on the 11th of November, live exclusively here. We're really looking forward to that as well. This Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, exclusively on our YouTube channel. Again, not on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. So look for us on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Make sure you find us at Jim Masters TV, and we will show you the web address for the channel. This is another incredible singer coming to us live and direct from Dublin, Ireland. This is George Hutton. George Hutton is going to be with us at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. in Western European time, which is Ireland, Scotland, and England. If you're in places like Italy or Portugal or Switzerland, Spain, France, Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, it'll be 9 p.m. It'll be 8 p.m. in England, Scotland, and Ireland, 3 p.m. Eastern time here, and it'll be noon Pacific. This is George Hutton, brilliant lyric tenor, Irish singer, songwriter. He's extraordinarily popular in Ireland and the UK, and he is here on Sunday exclusively on the YouTube channel. And then we have another show. We have a bonus on Sunday night, which is absolutely amazing. So we've got 2 shows on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We have brilliant singer and songwriter and musician George Hutton live from Ireland. And then we have a show on Sunday night, Sunday evening, also on the YouTube channel. And we have former NFL cheerleader Jennifer Cobb. She was an NFL cheerleader with the St. Louis Rams, and she also has a brilliant charity that she created that is really, really important for funding and research for Parkinson's disease. And she has a whole story attached to that, and she's really excited to be here. Again, former NFL cheerleader from the St. Louis Rams, as well as founder of this incredible charity. She's going to tell us about it. Jennifer Cobb is going to be here. That is on Sunday night, this Sunday. So we have 2 shows on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Irish singer-songwriter live from Ireland, George Hutton, on YouTube, Jim Masters TV. Then Sunday night on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, former NFL cheerleader from the St. Louis Rams, Jennifer Cobb, will be here on Sunday night. Whew. These are just some of the guests. There's so many more. These are just some of the guests. And yes, Keith Harkin from Celtic Thunder has been confirmed. He's coming up in December. We will mention his date. Emmett O'Hanlon, who was with Celtic Thunder and has another brilliant solo career. He's coming on in December as well. He's a dear friend. We've known each other for a long time. Interviewed him on public television, but we've gotten together socially. His mom has a restaurant in New York City, and he's all excited to be here. He's been performing. He was performing with the Lyric Opera in Chicago, and then he got a wonderful assignment in Germany, and then Germany went on lockdown, so he's coming back to the States, and he's going to be here in December for a really special show with us. So we have some really cool things coming up, and many, many more guests, and lots more entertainment and information and knowledge building and fun and inspiration, levity and all of that. So if you need a recap of any of that, just go to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Subscribe to the channel. We would love that. We're building that channel. Click the notification bell so you don't miss anything, because you get notified when there's new posts and new things. Plus, that channel has more on it. In addition to the Jim Masters Show live series, we have Masters Mantras, inspirational videos, and you can see some of my professional work and a lot of cool things. And also on the Facebook page at Jim Masters TV, we try to post shows that are coming up. Some of them are on Facebook and YouTube. Some of them are just exclusively on YouTube. So make sure you don't miss anything, because there's some really cool things coming up on our YouTube channel. So that's really cool. And again, we thank our wonderful guest, MG, for being with us here on the show. She really was terrific. Didn't you enjoy her? She was just really full of energy, full of spunk, full of passion. Mariagrazia La Fauci, yes. And yes, she did. I forgot to ask her, but a lot of people do ask her if there's any relation to Dr. Anthony Fauci, the Fauci and La Fauci. And her father's name is Antonio. So isn't that interesting? Anthony Fauci and Antonio La Fauci. Really amazing. But good stuff, folks. And I want to just take a look at a few more comments here as we get ready to wrap up. Good night, Jim. Your guys, yes, some of the great guests that are coming up. And everybody says good night. Thank you very much. Greetings from Holland. Good night, everyone. You as well, Willie. All these shows sound so good. They really are. Absolutely. So that'll be, so George Hutton will be 10 p.m. your time in South Africa. That's great. George Hutton will on Sunday on YouTube. Make sure you go on YouTube, Jim Masters TV. He'll be at 10 p.m. in South Africa. And Oscar Blue, the 21-year-old singer, songwriter, musician, also from Ireland, Saturday night live. That'll be 10 p.m. your time. Check our YouTube channel and our Facebook page at Jim Masters TV to check out all of that other stuff. Okay, busy night, lots going on here. Sherry says, thank you so much, MG. This has been a very uplifting, informative conversation between you and Jim. Thank you very much. Kathleen says, have a great night, Jim. Good night. All smiles from Willie. Don't forget, if you ever miss an episode of the Jim Masters Show live, don't fret, because all of the episodes are on our YouTube channel. Every episode from day one, like 175, 180 shows are on the YouTube channel. So if you're ever away or out of town or something, your power goes out, whatever happens, it is 2020. You can check out all of the episodes archived for you on our YouTube channel, conveniently there for you. So good stuff, good stuff. And we will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on both YouTube and on Facebook as well with Bree Henderson. A couple more last minute comments and we'll get ready to wrap up here. Anne says, good night, everyone. We appreciate that. And good night. Good night. You too, Willie. And we appreciate this. And Bernadette says she's going to enjoy some birthday Irish tea with the family. Good night, everyone. Stay safe, stay well. And it's Bernadette's birthday, right? Isn't it, Bernadette? Good night, Jim and the Lovelies. We always sing happy birthday when it's somebody's birthday. I think it's Merlin's birthday was last weekend, right? And Bernadette's is Bernadette, is your birthday today or was it this weekend? Because we weren't here yesterday because we smartly took the night off. We didn't want to compete with election night, one of the rare nights off. Plus, we wanted to watch and see what was going on. Christine says, good night, Jim and Lovely family. All right. Well, before we take off, why don't we all collectively, you too, Lin, you ready? We're going to sing happy birthday to Bernadette and to Merlin, whose birthday I believe was over the weekend. How are my feet? I'm ready to put my legs up. I've been standing for 3 hours almost. So here we go, gang. Ready? Let's do a toast and let's do a happy birthday for Bernadette. I really need to get on Cameo. Bernadette and Merlin. Merlin's birthday, I think, was a few days ago over the weekend. And Bernadette, who is a wonderful lovely as well and viewer, it is her birthday as well. So we don't necessarily have the acoustics and the usual studio atmosphere, but hey, it's the thought that counts, right? So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bernadette. We love you. You're amazing. You're a lovely. Happy birthday to you. Now we'll do one for Merlin. All right. Let me have a swig first. I was going to say we wouldn't want this to get cold, but we wouldn't want this to get warm. All right. Only for you, gang. 3, 2, 1. This is for Merlin in Canada. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm doing it like I'm on the air, right? 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. I feel the levity. Thank you, Jim and everyone. Absolutely. Here's for Merlin, if she's still with us in Canada. Oh, Canada. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Merlin. We love you. You're a lovely. Happy birthday to you. Now, I could have gone lower if you wanted, or I could have gone higher. My voice does whatever you wanted to do. So happy birthday, gang, to Bernadette and to Merlin. With love from all of us here at the Jim Masters Show. Yes, happy birthday and happy birthday. And happy birthday. And I'm feeling the lovity. My pleasure, my pleasure. And not bad after talking for 2.5 hours, right? Yes, today is your birthday. So fantastic, fantastic. Best of health and everything to you, Bernadette, and to Merlin as well. And if Merlin missed her happy birthday, let her know that she was sung to on the show. And Tess LaBella is still our viewer of the week. So I hope you're enjoying your time as viewer of the week, Tess. Congratulations to Juanita as well. Thank you very much. Little singing entertainment. I know you guys keep asking me to sing more, so I'm going to try to do that for you. We might be doing some things around Christmas time. So we're going to wrap up, gang, okay? We thank you very much for your time and attention. Great shows coming up. We will be back tomorrow night live here on the Jim Masters Show Live. All of these shows were designed to only be an hour, and they always go longer because we are horrifically bad at goodbyes. We're not goodbye people. But we're going to wrap up. And thanks to all of you. Don't forget, as we always say, real quick, we have our little routine here to relax, breathe, take care of one another, love one another, breathe from the diaphragm. And if you have a rough day, just remember we try to be here every night to entertain you and inform and enlighten you and inspire you. So breathe. And as we always say as well, yes, good night to all of you as well. I hope you enjoyed the singing of the happy birthday, Bernadette, and to you as well, Merlin. Yeah, good old Irish goodbyes. They take forever. Couple things we do here on the show that is part of our routine when we wrap up. We say, don't forget to smile. Really important. Don't forget to smile and share a smile. And of course, share some lovity. As we say, we just stumbled upon that word and it's become part of the vernacular here at the Jim Masters Show. And again, find your Zen place. Mine is with loving family and friends, of course, and my career, music, cycling and writing and the ocean and music, all kinds of good stuff. And I think we've covered it all. Yes, I know. But actually, tonight we have it. We don't always have it available, but tonight we have it. I know you've been looking for it. So I used to do the show this way where at the end I would say this. So we'll do it for you guys. Since you're still with us at 3:30 in the morning there, Willie and Holland, I might be the star of the show and the host and executive producer, but you guys are the stars as well. You and you and you and you and you and you. The stars, along with me, of the Jim Masters Show Live. There you go. I know you've been looking for the blue star. I tell you, there's a heck of a lot of production value in this show. To remember it all is amazing. All right, gang, we're going to wrap. Yes, breathe. It's been a tough few days. See you all tomorrow. Much needed lovity tonight. You got it. Yes, yes, yes. You got the star. Good night, everybody. Salute to Jennifer. You had a good time tonight, I know. Good night, Jim and lovity family. All right, gang. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live right here on the Jim Masters Show. One more comment always slipping in. And this is Jennifer, who's going to be jumping around in her living room because when we play the theme to our show, our series, Jennifer jumps around and she dances to the theme. So when the Jim Masters Singers and Orchestra do our musical theme, our intro and our outro, she jumps in her living room and dances. Thank you, Sue. So get ready to dance, Jennifer. You're going to be Zen in Pennsylvania as you guys ready? Singers and orchestra? They're queued up. They're ready. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Love you all. Thanks for all the comments, the support, the messages, and sharing and tagging. We love all that. We'll see you tomorrow with lots more. Have a good night.